This is episode 56 of Three Things with Ian. It is February 25th. It is sunny, 50 degrees here. To us, that's like 85, 90. Feels amazing. After this pod, I might go for a run. Who knows? Sky's the limit. On today's episode, we are going to talk a little bit more about sports. We're going to talk about a athletic news broadcasting entity. We're going to talk about promotion, relegation. I'm going to give you my little tirade, my little diatribe on the pros and cons of the promotion relegation aspect of sports. And then I'm going to ask you, yes, you, a question that I would like us all collectively to mull over. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Big welcome to those that are finding me for the first time, and a welcome back and a sign of appreciation to those that have been with me throughout the entire process. Okay, let's talk about good writing and how rare it is to see good writing these days. I love reading about sports. I usually just peruse sportsillustrated.com, ESPN.com, but I was drawn to The Athletic, which is a subsidiary of the New York Times. You get some stuff for free, but they are big about paying their reporters and writers a living wage. The Athletic to me is sort of akin to not Adam Silver, but the 538 team, and just really interesting. I hate to use the word fair because I'll get ripped apart by this, but metric-based, pragmatic, just commonsensical ways of thinking and writing about the world in which we live in, stating something and then backing it up, providing both sides of the issue. So I've gotten into reading a lot of cool columns by The Athletic. They follow all the major sports. They do some really good global soccer coverage. They have really interesting stories too, like who is the tallest player never to dunk a basketball, right? They must have like a crew of people, a bevy of people who just are asking interesting questions and then researching them and finding the answer. So there is a 6'8" player. Little did we know, Caleb Houston, 22. He has played something like 2,500 minutes of professional basketball and has never dunked the ball. There's videos of him dunking in high school and in practice. Anecdotally, we know he can dunk, but he hasn't dunked in the NBA. He's the tallest player not to do so. So stuff like that. They'll do power rankings. They'll do mock drafts. They'll do everything that we're all kind of doing, but they just do it better. They have their own connections. Sports edition, right? I just lit up on that because I love a good connections. They've been hard lately, though, right? So my first thing is one, find a deal, but embrace the paywall. Pay a little bit of money. I think it's like $1 a week or maybe $1 a month. It's very minimal for good quality writing, right? Unbiased writing, asking cool questions. The Athletic. That's my number one recommendation. If anyone out there likes 538, they're going to find there's some parallels and maybe even some overlap in terms of the people that are doing the writing. All right, for my number two thing today, let's talk about, let me look at my notes here. I want to make sure I get the right order thing. I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to pause, and we're not going to answer it right now, but we're going to think about it. When's the last time you felt pure joy? Unfettered, nirvana-like feelings, right? No stress, no worries. You were at not a transcendental plane, but when's the last time you felt pure joy? And what did it look like? How did it make you feel? Why is it so hard to feel that purity of happiness, of joy, of just everything else kind of melts away? So I asked this question because I think it's important sometimes to pause and make those lists of what are those 5 things that bring you happiness? What are the next 5 things you want to achieve? Because there's opportunities to get so bogged down and to fill up your agenda and your social calendar and your mental calendar with things, and I sometimes feel like they might dabble, they might hint at providing you the things that you truly want, but they're not moving you in the direction so that you feel. We should all feel every day, I think, moments of just pure simplicity and joy, pure happiness. And what's causing us not to achieve those goals? Maybe it's something out of your control right now, but I think it's important just to hit a pause. For me, after a busy day, I really embrace it. It's sort of counterintuitive, but for me, this is that pause. Even though I'm talking to you, I do a little bit of prep. I do a little bit of thinking. I'm always fine-tuning my list and adding things and trying to find 3 things of interest to share with you every day, which it is easy in the sense that I just like a lot of things and I'm very locked in and attuned to culture and media, politics, all that stuff. But just, I want to ask you, and I want you to spend a few minutes on when is the last time you felt pure happiness? And how did you obtain it? Obviously, I know how it made you feel. It made you feel great. And then what can we do to get back there more often? What can we push aside? What can we minimize? What can we maximize to get there, right? So that's my number 2 thing. When's the last time you felt real, pure happiness? Number 3, promotion, relegation. Let's talk soccer again. I'm on a soccer kick. When I look back through the year, I'm going to see these ebbs and flows, right, of the things that I'm really into. Right now, it's soccer. The UEFA Championship is going on. We're down to 16 teams. There are games as we speak. The only thing worth having on Paramount Plus is the occasional Sonic movie and soccer. Okay, that's my 4th little extra bonus thing for you. Paramount Plus is only good, or if you like that Yellowstone stuff, which I don't really get into that. But promotion, relegation. Here's the dealio with that. So, in essence, I'm simplifying this greatly, but in essentially all of international soccer, your top tier, let's say you have 20 teams in your top tier. They play 24 games, 32 games, right? The bottom 3 teams are relegated to the 2nd tier, whether that's the champion. There's weird names for it. In England, you have the championships, which sounds like the best, but it's not. It's not the Premier League. So you get your bottom 3 teams just based on pure metric, unbiased. They move down, and your top 3 get promoted, pushed up. The problem is, it is incredibly difficult when you get either pushed up or pushed down. There's no equilibrium. When you get promoted, you have a very hard time getting out of the bottom of the next division, right? Because you're in the division you were at because you struggled to be consistent and to get those 3-point victories. Same thing happens when you get relegated. Those teams are, in essence, a step above, and so they tend to dominate. And you have this seesawing thing where there are teams that spend 15, 20 years just never getting the chance to go up. When they do go up, they get smushed. They go right back down, right? I think Southampton has like 9 points. Liverpool has like 63. There's a massive gradation. So I think that to keep things competitive, to keep fan bases intrigued, I think this is a good system, but I do want to point out that the biggest flaw with a promotion relegation is that it's very hard to make a substantial impact when you are moving up or down. The teams that move down, the 3 teams like Southampton, they're going to move down. They're having a terrible year in the Premier League. They will probably be in the top 5 of their tier 2, right? Because they showed enough promise to move up. So it's an imperfect system. It is a better system that you have now because there are teams in the NFL and NBA where historically over the last 15, 20 years, they've been underperforming to the point that they should probably, if there was a lower league, get pushed down to it. I'm on the record saying, save MLS, which is Major League Soccer, we will not see a promotion relegation standard probably in my lifetime. I just don't think that we're set up for that system. The NBA, all our major sports teams, I mean, there's a massive amount of minor league baseball teams, but they use those as a farm system to get the players pushed up, right? The best players in AAA go to the pros. We're not talking about the teams because they're already owned by the same teams. The Red Sox have a AAA team. They're not gonna switch and seesaw, right? Because they move players all the time, right? So I think you can have teams move or players move. It's very hard to do both. So those are just some of my initial thoughts on promotion relegation. Just making sure that I covered everything. So, yes. So I think that it's a good system. It is not perfect. I do think that it keeps people in check. No one likes a team to tank. No one likes somebody playing for that number one pick in the draft, right? Losing games on purpose. We expect our athletes who are paid big bucks to put on a show for us day in and day out and always do their best. And we want coaches to want their players to do the best. And so tanking is it's just not something we want to endorse. So anyway, those are my 3 things for today. Like I said, episode 56, February 25th. February is flying by. We talked about relegation promotion. We talked about The Athletic, which is part of the New York Times. Embrace the paywall, guys. Get that good content. And we talked about... Why is it always hard to remember what we talked about? I don't know why I struggle with this. Oh, yeah. When's the last time you felt unfettered joy? And let's just bask in that. And let's try to get there all the time, as much as we can. I know there's so many variables, a myriad of factors at play, but I do think it's important to focus on what makes us happy today. Doing this makes me happy. That's why I'm happy to do it every day. Metrics aside, I do want this to grow, but if 10 people listen to it every day consistently, I'd probably be just as happy doing it for those 10 people. All right, but tell a friend. Let's get this out to the greater masses, and I will see you guys tomorrow.